welcome to our October session. So we originally planned it on the 12th of October. Then I realized I'll be in the middle of nowhere, just 2 days out to the Himalayan terrain. So most probably even the mobile phones won't work, let alone laptops and the call. So I managed to do this today so that I could take my flight tomorrow. So thank you for everybody who joined. Thank you for all the people who will be doing the recording. So if you haven't followed Baachu Scribble on LinkedIn or Baachu Scribble on YouTube, please do go there and check out and subscribe because I think it's important so that you could get the messages from us pretty much before everybody else gets it. At the same time, we would love to know your feedback and related things. So, and also we have been also adding the related information that we're doing on AI related courses also in a podcast format. So if you don't follow us, please do also look at Scribble Talk in any podcast channels, may they be Spotify, or if you're into Apple phones, you could go and look into this, or Amazon, you name it. It's all the tools you can find it there. So gradually we are building momentum. Again, while many people are starting to talk about prompt engineering, that's what we did way back in April. And the community is growing. But what I'm slightly disappointed is there's not much use cases coming along, which is like, okay, I don't want you to just simply like and comment. Just want you to come back and say, hey, I'm doing this. It's not working. It's working. Things are changing, and so many related. So because that's what we are here to do. Because 6-7 months, as I told you, Q3 is where I predicted there'll be tectonic shift, and that's what's happened. Which means, please do that. And gradually, we have done the bidder boot camps, 3 bidder boot camps, AI writer workshops, 4. And recently, Friday, we did the AI writer workshop for our bidder bootcamp students. So that was slightly more intense than originally planned, and it was a lot of time-based exercises. So predominantly, you take a bid first thing in the morning, and you pretty much go for the responses, at least 10 different responses, pretty much 80% done by the end of the workshop, including researching, including finding value proposition, etc. All done through the power of AI. So you managed to do that. It's very intense. So anybody who joined that, you might have known how it worked through. If you haven't, please do join us on the upcoming workshops. Mastery programs are still going as we speak. A graphics workshop will reconvene again next year because it was pretty long this year. So this was the survey, one of the survey that came out today by Harvard. Primarily skill level effect of AI, because September we nearly had 90 slides. This time I've kept it very, very simple. It's only 10 slides. So what they're finding here is in employees utilizing ChatGPT, I am hoping you all are using it. Please don't tell me you're still not, because when was it? I had a shock over this weekend when somebody told me that, yes, they heard about it, but they haven't logged in or something. So which means the world of, if you go to Udemy and if you go to other related programs, learning portals, you see how people charge $10, $20 for how to use basic ChatGPT work, and literally millions have subscribed to that. So I was just thinking, oh my God, that's like $20, 1 million person, that's $20 million just to tell people how to use ChatGPT. That's like a cool business. But either way, I mean, like that's still only 1 million, but there are billions of people who actually work, and then that'll definitely be a big reach. So either way, what's transpired is, this is the interesting thing. If there are 2 things which you need to be wary of from the survey. Number one, survey is, okay, if for many of us, ChatGPT actually help us to clutter, or generative AI in general, let's put that way, text-based programs that helps us to actually improve. Like as the survey says, yes, we could achieve things faster. To go from 0 to 20, it's not going to take you to 0 to 100 in split second, but it definitely helps you to begin. It definitely helps you to break that early syndrome of, okay, where do I start? And most importantly, it also helps you to, at least if you have something, it also becomes your trusted thing of, hey, this is what I'm trying to achieve. Can you review and confirm? So it also helps you do that. Again, most of you are already doing those things. But the fascinating thing here is this, right? So they kind of looked in again. Now you have to go back and check this report. It's called Skill Leveling Effect of AI. But the fascinating thing about this report is, if you're really, really, really good, AI actually don't use it for everything. That's what it's saying. Primarily what it says it is there is a differential where it helps the bottom half of the skilled people. I don't know how they evaluated what the bottom half is. It helps them to do more, whereas for really top-notch people who used to be who are already very good in doing what they're doing, the moment they start to use it, they're diluting what their overall effect. I think that's this sort of researches, you can always take it with a pinch of salt, which is like on what sample size, what sample sizes, and what are the related elements that comes in. But either way, the market is like adopting, is adopting. Okay, that is an improvement across 18 tasks of what they do. Just go back and check. So if you haven't connected ChatGPT to internet, now is the time to connect, and I'll show you how to do it. And we'll also put some use cases in it just to understand how, if you haven't connected, you can connect. And secondly, what's this whole thing is about. So what's this whole thing is about. So let me stop the share, and I will get back to my ChatGPT, and then we can slowly start to do it. But in that way, you can also plan with me. So this is ChatGPT. As you know, in the past, we used to connect with web access using plugins. This is what 4 or 5 months ago. But if you have a plus account, if you have a 3.5, which is normal account, then you can't. But you have a plus account, then you simply come to your settings, and in the settings, you could go back to settings and beta. In beta features, this is where you just have to see browse with Bing. Primarily, what they're saying that is this is what you're going to do with the internet. If you are a software developer, coder, somebody into gaming and stuff, then obviously, advanced data analytics is a really great tool. It also meant especially for development and websites and so many other things, this also helps you either create code, edit code, and do many other things. But again, for now, I've done it. Even image related thing, it does it. So very simply, just do this. Plugins. Again, there is already third-party plugins, which if you haven't used it, that's how we were using it to get things done. But the best thing about ChatGPT beta is they actually found out some of the best use cases, and then they went on and they did it. So now it's added it. Browse with Bing. If you haven't done, do it. And again, it's up to you. Chat history, data privacy, you could toggle it, toggle down, keep it. Manage links is the same thing. What are we going to manage to use it? Export data, you could actually take all the content out and do it. So now I've given it here. So primarily, let me go back and check. Yes, Lucy asked a very good question, which is like at the moment, Lucy is not using ChatGPT Plus. But the trouble is, Lucy, you will be using it a lot more. Even the $20 version, you could only ask 50 messages in 3 hours. Then there'll be a cutoff, and then you have to come back again in few hours time. So definitely I strongly suggest $20 is in a grand scheme of things is not big. You can solve a lot of stuff within it. Even responding emails, I use it, especially long emails that I receive. And some of the drafts, that you want to review, and yes, definitely, I strongly suggest go and explore it. You can always shut down in $20, but what you will do here is even the $20, you will be using it maximum. And then gradually you'll get to a point where you open your email, and you'll also open your ChatGPT at some point. But you can also use Claude. Claude is another tool that you can also use. Again, Claude is also going through payment mechanism. So if that's the case, then you can still try yes, free ChatGPT, and you can also try free Claude as well. But I strongly recommend use it, because it's that's where the world is moving. And it's important for everybody to grasp it. And after 1 month, just see how you feel it. You're going to find many use cases of where we are going to do it. Yeah? Hope that helps. So in this case, I'm just going to ask, okay, find all the jobs, all the procurement jobs, or let's say proposal and tender jobs in London. Right. So I've just asked this. As you can see here, the moment I've added it, it just looks into web browsing, because it's already connecting to web browsing, connects to Bing, and let's see what it does. So the point here is It doesn't directly connect to LinkedIn. Oh, sorry, it does. I'm confusing with Copilot. So here are the few things. So see how quick it is now. And I'll just give you one or two use cases, and you can just go from there. Yeah. Thank you, Lucy. So any other questions, please to add it. So what it says you is here, bingo. What are the jobs? In the past, we used to go to individual portals and we need to check. Now, I don't need to. I can just sit and ask the same questions. The same thing here, any events happening in London this weekend, right? What do? We go back and then we ask the same question. You can do the same thing. It's pretty much Bing search. Bing search does inside ChatGPT. So, that's how we are asking. I can just go for it. So primarily it's looking into different websites. See, it's saying I'm reading all these things, and most probably it's going to start to answer. Yeah, these are the things that you can only use it. You can only connect to it if you have the plus version. That's why it's important. So I'm just clicking it. It just picked up one thing's events in London this weekend, and it comes back. Which is a kind of a decent link. So what else? You can also go back and then say, hey, can you write summarize this page? In the past, we used to go back in 5 bullet points. Yep. Let's see. Oh, this is I always test my site because it's the website is. I know I'm always critical about it. So all I'm trying here is you could actually go back and ask it to do anything for you. Right, so you can just provide a link and you could ask it to summarize 5-point bus. This is what we do. The important thing is then it questions because you can also always check your website, your LinkedIn profile, or anything, and then say, hey, is this what I want others to think of me? Is this how other companies needs to perceive what services we provide? And so you can just keep doing it. At the same time, can you write this as a blog? So you simply give a link, and that's it. Here we go. So and it's very, very, what it does is it's high level. Obviously, I didn't mention how many words I want. You still should not forget about your basics. But at the moment, it's just it. You just give a link, and then it just asks. I can say, okay, any improvements? What improvements do you suggest for this page? Typos. Right? Because in this case, it gives generic, but you can just keep asking more and more of that, right? And in the past, we used to also do what we call fact checks and stuff. Do you remember where and people used to say, hey, ChatGPT doesn't connect to internet, so I don't know much about it. And so you could say, okay, what are the top companies invested in ChatGPT Enterprise? Provide source links. So in the past, it doesn't give you, it just comes back and tells you, oh, my cutoff is September 2021. Sorry, I don't know anything more. You better go back and check yourself. But at the moment, yes, it just connects it. It still doesn't connect to social media. It still doesn't connect to LinkedIn. Obviously, there's too much. So Microsoft invested to create to enhance Bing. Google launched its own chatbot bot. Again, as you can see here, the question was very simple. Who has showed interest in ChatGPT? Obviously, the answer It just stated, it's like, hey, several top companies have shown interest in ChatGPT or are working on similar AI technologies. So primarily just goes back and see who's doing what, but ideally what we wanted to have is a list of companies that are invested in ChatGPT Enterprise. So you can actually go back and check, okay, is it true AWS has won the NASA contract? You can use it to fact check. You could use it to specifically to say, hey, I've been told about this. Is it true? Yes, it's true. What is the source? Right. So primarily, I just want you to just set up the web version, and then you can just keep playing it. So this is interesting. Did you see? So it should be there because I know there is some links between these two companies, but you can just play with it. So that's what I just want to cover. If you haven't done, if you haven't connected internet to ChatGPT, connect it to that, and then keep experimenting, and you can start. These are some of the little use cases I thought we could play. Set up the settings, and then go play with that. The next one is is the ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot. It's very interesting because the reason I say it's interesting is even though you might think ChatGPT, like Microsoft has invested in ChatGPT, as you can see, ChatGPT includes Bing search, etc. Microsoft realized that it's actually using ChatGPT as one tool for all AI is actually expensive. So behind the scenes, they're also trying to invest on their own AI tools, just so that if there are any other things that they can do, they don't want to rely on ChatGPT fully or OpenAI fully. They can just cope with that. So now you are seeing two big worlds that are colliding, which will be colliding in the next month or so. Copilot was announced a month ago saying, hey, it's all done, we are ready. And the 1st of November, it'll be coming up with the enterprise clients. Also, ChatGPT Enterprise, also they tested it, both Microsoft Copilot and ChatGPT Enterprise, they have been testing it for well over a year from this year with the old versions, and then say what they could go for. And now they are both bringing back to the market. And that's what's the interesting thing that's got happening. So what I'm going to do here is rather than to go and add slides after slides, I'll just give you a few links that you can go and do it yourself. So let's start with ChatGPT Enterprise, and anything more, we can go and have a look at that. So again, it's not like I go and create all this information. The information is there, but I just curate it and then share it to you in a condensed format. So very first thing that we need to understand is this. Right? What is ChatGPT Enterprise? Enterprise is coming up. Primarily what they're saying here, you just need to get to do, yes, you get unlimited higher speed GPT-4 access. So what that means is at the moment with the current GPT Plus or ChatGPT Plus, you get $20 a month. You still get GPT-4, which is the 4.0, but you only get 50 messages in 3 hours. But here you get unlimited usage. And also, the longer contacts, remember Claude has 32,000 words, whereas GPT still has 7,000 to 8,000 words, which is amount of information it could remember in one chunk. But you can keep adding 7,000, it remembers, whereas Claude remembers a lot more. In this case, they also have given longer contacts. They haven't specifically mentioned it, but this is the reason. You upload content to them, and then you can just work through that. So primarily, this is it. So longer inputs, longer outputs, and it also has advanced data analysis capabilities and customization and so. Primarily, what they have done here is, see, they have already given access to few companies. They learned how to do, how not to do. Bigger companies, they even have created their own little avatars where they replaced some of their employees, which are repetitive tasks, into ChatGPT avatars, and then they are just using them on one side. So the concerns that we were talking about in April when people are, oh my God, I'm not going to use it. I know this is going to be fixed. And that's what I was always open with you on that, because nobody's going to do this. But secondly, it's also meant like, when these big tech companies are entering a market backed up by billions of investment, they will be arm twisting it anyway, and they are going to make things work for them. So, and unfortunately, we won't be having a choice. So here, what we're having here is protect your data with enterprise grade security. And again, all these things, ChatGPT Enterprise is SOC 2 compliant, and also meant like, it also has, if I've seen one company deploying it recently, because we're starting to work with them to just see how we can customize it for them. But it's a huge waiting list. Again, I'll show you how to do that. So again, we have it here. It's a 32K context, which is very large compared to any other site that we have. So go for this and browse through this. But again, you know what, your IT will get involved, and it becomes just another tool implementation, because that's the biggest. People are jumping into implementing tools without even knowing, working with their team to understand, hey, how are you currently using ChatGPT on a plus? What are the use cases that you do? And collectively as a team, how can we implement certain processes that meant, hey, everybody follows these use cases, and now you know what sort of things humans can do, what sort of thing AI can do, then you go back to the system and do it. But in most cases, it's got to be the other way around. So they are going to implement the system, then scratch their head and say, okay, now we got this, and what are we going to do with this? Okay. Or people will be given access to it, because every user, there will be cost to it, and the people who will actually be using it will not be given access, and the people who will be given access to it are like the privileged people within any organization. Sorry to use those terminology, but that's the reality, and then they won't be really using it, but they will be loving to have access to this, right? Time and time again we see that happening. So this is the high level thing. I just want you to go back and check it. And the next one is the other element, which is here. The key pointers, go back and see how they do it. Again, if anybody is looking to, enterprise, this is the other version. What they do here is scalable deployment, which meant they are going to deploy it within your environment, dedicated admin console, analytics dashboard to understand who is doing what. Because at the moment, you don't know, different employees might be doing differently because it's a personal login. But with this one, you can start to see, hey, we all are using this for different purposes, but end of the day, this is the user stuff. So, and then this is already covered. So next one is how do you do is trust. This is another very important page. They invested a lot. Like as I mentioned, over 2 months ago, I think in July when I told you none of the bigger LLM language models are actually compliant with GDPR. But look here, they all are compliant with GDPR. I don't know how quickly that has happened, but they have ticked all the boxes on security, data security. So it's here. So anybody questions, again, we have to go and update our AI data governance course completely because of this. But again, the good news is, all the noise is being cut down now. Then before it's like copyright infringement, before it's like data piracy and so many things. Yes, those things will continue to exist because ChatGPT has made public, which is like their own bot, and many bigger organizations like Amazon to what do you call TripAdvisor, to every big organization, have actually disabled the ChatGPT bot to access their website, which meant, yes, they won't have a real time access to everything, but with whatever possibility, whatever access that they have, they are just going to still continue to make it real time for you. So again, if you are doing it, this is it. It just tells you different highlight. And again, this is how they are going to do it. Very important to understand it, because you are the one who will be interested to using this within your company. And don't wait for IT or anybody to tell you, hey, this is the possibility, this is not a possibility, etc. That's your ChatGPT. But the contact us form, once you go for it, that's here, OpenAI contact sales. You go fill the form, and then they'll be asking you two options. One is, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to use it to build your own app, or do you want to use it for ChatGPT Enterprise? The moment you click and do it, you're going to get a thing. Hey guys, thank you for your interest. There is a long waiting list for this to happen, and we are going to come back to you on this. So that's why you're going to find few companies like us who have already partnered with them to just say, hey, even though we are going to go and get ChatGPT Enterprise license, we still want somebody to help us to configure, guide us, and implement the whole thing for us. Or in other cases, someone will say, hey, you know what, ChatGPT Enterprise is very different. This is why we always tell you, don't please be very careful when you work with any custom LLMs. There are a lot of custom language models tools, and for the past 3-4 months or so, they have got some funding, and or some always say, hey, don't use it because everybody will be having the same answers. It's the same thing. These are people who don't know much about what they're talking about, but they were prying on the targets on saying, hey, data security, data privacy, and all these things. Now that's all been shut down. So even if we doing this, you're seeing every website, whether it's small or big, are using the chat GPT or Bing chat within their thing, so that when you ask a question, it simply summarizes and gives the answer rather than to provide links and stuff. So go and browse these things. It's going to be very, very common from Q1 2024. But most importantly, this is going to make a big difference. And nobody expected, as I mentioned, 6 months ago to even talk about this, but now the implementation is going faster. So the next one is what we call Copilot. Copilot, again, there is a lot of it's still a lot of theory. So like what we covered on Google a month ago, saying, hey, how Google is connecting their Google Sheets, Google Docs, and everything to their own AI tools, and how they are trying to make it all look good. But in reality, that hasn't worked out. Here is the same thing. So Microsoft announced Copilot a few months ago, and then now they also tested it a few people. It won't be reaching everybody this November. So obviously they are giving in all the customers who have got maximum license from them as a first go. But still, this will be expensive. Imagine if you're a company with 50 employees. I'm just giving 50 employees. Like we trialed and we tested Microsoft Teams Premium, which is the Copilot, as you can see here, is nothing but adding the AI to every single Microsoft product. So you could actually subscribe Copilot on its own, or you could subscribe just a specific product within Office 365, like a Microsoft SharePoint or like a Microsoft Teams or like a Microsoft Word, etc., to be having Copilot. So we have been testing it at different levels, and we were doing it for Microsoft Word and Microsoft Teams. So while on the one side is very interesting because you're attending a meeting, so it records everything and it comes back, summarizes, and it tells you, hey, it then sends it, in the utopian world, what happens? 5 people attending a meeting, and they all are talking about a particular subject. At the end of the meeting, they just say, okay, can you summarize it and send it to all 5 attendees, clearly documenting actions and stuff. It just happens in like or two. Then you can clearly say, can you also add reminders to our diary 2-3 days before? And it comes, because remember, ChatGPT also has voice as well. So you could also give instruction through voice. So it's there, and that's the utopian world, right? But what has happened here is the expensive nature of this. It's going to be $30 per month per user. But again, a premium user cannot interact Copilot with another user who doesn't have premium, which means in your bid team, for example, or in your procurement team, or in any team, you need to have, say, 30 people in your team. All 30 people should have the same. So that's how we need to connect. But then you might be thinking, hey, my operations, my finance, my accounts do not have it, but they can't share that with you. So which meant Copilot might be working in a small department, but not for others. But that's why Microsoft is going to make a lot more on this. And we all will be given the option at some point, but gradually what they are doing here is even the basic Microsoft Office 365 license fees are increasing, whether or the basic 365 licenses are gradually be increasing, for £1 more a month, £1.5 for enterprise and bits, and you're going to see that. But the only thing that I will say here, I'm going to show you a few links where you could familiarize yourself. But the first thing I would say to familiarize yourself is the Bing search. I just want you to learn more and more about Bing search. Yes, if you have ChatGPT internet, it's good, but it's still being done inside. Familiarize yourself with Bing search, because as I mentioned, in every tool within Microsoft, what simply it's going to happen is it's going to connect from one to the other and it's going to summarize it. If you understand more and more of the Bing search powered by AI, then it will be very, very easy for you when things happens. And every month, there is a Copilot use case webinar, which I attended last week. And there were a lot of questions. People seem to think now they can solve every single problem they have in every single Microsoft product using Copilot. and it's not, and some get really frustrated why I'm still not getting access to it, and others. So it's going to fall in place, but the expectations, as you know, is like, okay, from 0 to 100, I want everything to be clear. So I'm going to quickly stop and share, give you some more links that I want you to go back and have a look at Copilot. Please do. Very first thing is familiarize yourself what a Copilot is. It's here. If you go to support.microsoft, there is a page called Copilot, and it talks you about what Microsoft 365 Copilot. This is still utopian. It just tells you, oh my God, you can do all these things. If you go back and then say, this is the one that they launched 3 months ago, which is like, okay, Microsoft Teams Premium, where you talk, you summarize, notes comes up, and you can just simply go. But again, this is already $10 a month. This is still a beta, and it's $10. If you haven't subscribed, go subscribe. But if you haven't, it's going to be even more as it comes out with. Same thing with the Word. You have it comes up with, and instead of starting something with scratch, you can go back and simply have ChatGPT here within your thing, and you can go back and add it. Same thing here for Outlook. Since you're going to find similar tools that they have it here. Again, read this, which is support.microsoft Copilot. It's going to give you a lot of things. The technical jargon is going to confuse you, but this is important for you to also know, what you can do for it, which is how to prepare for Microsoft 365 Copilot, because you need to let your team know, your IT knows, because your IT will be getting this, because this is a cool toy for them. 100%. They're all going to invest on this, and they at least to a certain level or not, but they won't be actually able to tell you, if they might be configured in their own way, but if they are doing it, if there is a decision that's been made, please do actively participate. It's not all technical. It's just that as a prerequisite. For example, in this case, you can clearly say Copilot users must have Microsoft 365 Enterprise license or E5 license, because this is an enterprise tool. They're going to launch it only to the enterprise clients, and then they'll be gradually coming in through. So they have it. And then permissions, as you can see here, users permission policies here, and what can individual users do, individual users can't do, and the same thing, security, privacy, builds on Microsoft approach, and again, and starting in July, early access program will align with our commitments, EU data boundary. So they all have been preparing for this for a long time, but it's here. It's called, it's slightly technical, I know, but, and I'm just sharing it to you so that you can learn when you are ready. This is a latest article, as you can see here, 21st of November, this is 21st of September, and you could say prerequisite, what are you going to do with that? Same thing. Much more summarized version. The following application must be deployed for users, which seemingly integrate Copilot, which means you need to have all these things. Second, you need to get started for each of those tools, you can have it. See here, Microsoft Copilot, Microsoft Teams. You can download, you can do this. Microsoft Loop, I haven't used Loop before, but you have, that's the thing here. And it just got very, very simple articles, but when you click and read it, you get a lot more. Frequently asked questions are here, but at the moment, this is not widely known. It's like, as it happens, it's like 2 or 3 people, or not 2 or 3 people. The top 50 Microsoft clients globally have been given access, and they all have been testing it. But as it stands, yes, theoretically, what they say it's going to happen to practically what's coming out, it's going to take, it's not going to take few years, it's going to take few months, but definitely it will be coming and hitting us shortly, most probably in the new year. Same thing here with the data privacy, data privacy. Primarily it says here Microsoft Copilot, it's based on language models, Microsoft Graph, because I have a colleague who have used Microsoft Power BI, Excel, and a Copilot together. So what that meant is any research reports that we do in the Excel, now we don't need to work through directly. That's the use case that we were testing it, which means, hey, whenever we do a data refresh on the state of the FM market here in the UK, can we publish them as a market insight newsletter or some sort of insights report directly? Now with Microsoft Copilot, you can do it. You don't need to look into Excel, convert that into a slide deck, convert it into report. No, it automatically takes the information and it automatically writes it up for you based on what it is. That's how powerful it's going to be for anybody and everybody. So, but it's whoever is curious, they are going to maximize it. Whoever is not curious, they are going to have this fancy toy with them. It's been given to them in the next few months, but nothing much is going to happen. And some really naive people who don't want to learn or search, there are already existing tool. You're already paying for many of these things. Yes, it's still going to cost you money, but it's incrementally more. Than you stop that and then go back and invest yourself on a totally different language model, configure something different, and you can do this. There'll be few people you're doing it. I've seen one of the language model company, they have got nearly 250,000 pounds just from one company here in the UK. And they've got it. These companies, the IT boys and the others, MDs and stuff, happy days. It's like, okay, with that meant we don't need to recruit 4-bit managers, 2-bit coordinators. They simply took their resource budget and they're giving it to this tool. This tool is like, okay, we have got the tool now. Help us to configure it. There is nobody to configure because they removed everybody already. So it's not like a tool is not going to take over everything. It still needs to work as an aid, but you're going to find more and more people going to the extreme and doing what they are. But familiarize yourself with Copilot and Enterprise. It's both are coming in as we speak. But I think it will take a couple of months to settle in. But the important point of this AI tool AMA session is please to go back and connect your ChatGPT into your web and play with it to understand a lot more stuff that you want to do. And yes, it still doesn't give us the ability to attach a document, which I'm sure it's going to come soon. But what you can do here is you can add it in a link and you can start to work through those details. So go and search. This is if anybody is really curious, this is the webinar that I attended, and you can go back and search this Microsoft 365 tech community, and you can go back and do it. Primarily, you can clearly see here. I just want to show you how people's expectation have changed. Copilot. You see here. I just want to show you a few examples. A use case I would love to have available is something take the 150 marketing leads on the spreadsheet, and based upon their titles and company sizes, write 3 separate marketing email sequences around product offering, X with value, blah, 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 a marketing thread for finance identity. See, they expect it to solve everything. This is one, right? I'll give you a list. You just go back and write everything for X person. But Copilot be able to build flows within Power Automate. Example, when I receive an email from anyone on this lead list is donated, add that, and it's automatically sends me all these things. So you are having people who are actually working through this and configuring it and asking a lot more technical questions. See, we're a small organization with 100 users, of which 5 would want access to Copilot. Are we able to just upgrade 5 of our users without upgrading the rest of our team? What is the fastest way for us to get those 5 users? So many of the questions that you have in mind will be asked in this forum. And as you can see here, response. Hi, Andreas, Copilot license per user. There's no requirement. You would have to ensure that those users have the appropriate prerequisite base license. More details and availability will be made as GA process. GA is the 1st of November when they are going to launch it. So there are a lot more questions, and the one that I want to show you is there is a company that just came out. So this is the one which I want to show you. So we are a small organization, the same company. Will Copilot be able to reference other sheets when I'm working with a particular sheet? Will it be possible to stand standard instructions with Excel? Will we be able to have reference data with my Outlook inbox? Will Copilot be able to build flows? Will Copilot do? So as you can see here, people have been having issues with Microsoft for a long time, from way back Windows 95. And today they expect Copilot to solve all the pain that they have been going through for the past 25, 30 years. So This meant like, you can be very curious about it. If you are a pricing person, if you work in Excel, or if you're a writer, or if you're a procurement person, or a salesperson, there is always going to be somebody who's going to work on something. But please, 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 the reason for me to share all these things, which nobody else does, is don't just go straight away, jump from, hey, yes, I need to write something. Yes, I need to review something. Let me go back and invest on a tool. Somebody needs to do the heavy lift of knowing exactly what's possible, what's not possible, what is immediate, what's priority, what's not a priority. Otherwise, you will be given a toy to play with and you'll be scratching your head. Your budget will be slashed because we invested on this new toy, nobody is using it, and you can't do anything. So it's important, if there is some discussion that's happening, it's important for you to be part of this. And even if you are not part of it, at least influence somebody who are part of this and make it work. So let me stop the share and we can get back. I know I'm talking to you in very technical term, but I thought it's a Copilot, which is not going to be connected to LinkedIn, even though, as you know, Microsoft owns LinkedIn. So if they do that, as you can see here, they deliberately left Sales Navigator as clunky as possible to Microsoft. So what that meant is, yes, with all this AI thing, why can't Sales Navigator solve many things? So sales prospecting, make it easy with the AI, right? All the questions that guy was asking about in marketing, why is it not done with Sales Navigator? They won't, because they know individual products has its own ecosystem, and they will not be connecting everything. So you have to go for individually to buy, or if you're getting an outright, you need to have a standard set of license for you to do that. So that's where I'll be off tomorrow. So if there is any questions, please do, if you haven't followed our Facebook, or it's not Facebook, you have a YouTube or LinkedIn, please do podcast follow. Add any questions in our Circle platform. I know I should be logging in there, but it's been very hectic. Tomorrow I need to submit my pitch to the investors. So I need to pack my bags in the evening to do this. By the way, I'm here. So we have unlocked, as you know, as per many people's request, we unlocked it. So the website is still there for you. If you're doing any trainings, it's there. Click and do it. A lot of people who have invested last year on what we call the cheaper version of the exam. So many of you might be like, hey, November, my course might expire, my exam booking will expire. Just come on board. We are doing a very special APMP practitioner revision stuff. You could join a small cohort, provided you register and complete the online material in October. We can have a small cohort so that you could learn from there. Otherwise, it's there for you. And that's it. Training programs are becoming gradually more and more popular because we don't actively push it as much as we do early on, because it's important. We know you'll be here at some point. Write a program will be very intense. I'll be telling you, it's very, very intense for you. Beta boot camp is the right level. It's kind of phases 4 to 6 weeks. So it's good. Graphics and design, unless you're very interested, it's yes, it's a high-end product, but it's going to be very, very useful. Governance and risk, we are totally refreshing everything because things are changing. Again, if somebody's coming out with this is how things are going to work, today you could tell them, hey, this is how I can ensure my data need to be treated this way. And if any other data that anybody else has it, this is how I want it to trace it collectively. This is the answer. And so proposal mastery, November is the next one. We come back the 4 days. You already have 2 people. Just come back and do it. It's all there. Next year onwards, there won't be this much training programs. We have also made the graphics workshop on recorded as well at half price, and the bidder boot camp is also recorded on half price, because the feedback that we receive is, Bhaskar, most of the time I want to register for your program, but then I don't have the time to do it. Is there any way I could have the recorded thing? So unfortunate, out of the 8 people who always study, nearly 50-60%, they never join the live program because they know they can't join it, and then they pay the full price. So for those people, now you can click and buy the recordings of our latest boot camps. Still going to give you everything, but at half price. The thing, it's just there on the website. So just do that, because we don't want you to pay the full fees and then can't turn up and then say, hey, you know what, it's because you want to keep your money to yourself, and then give us a little bit just so that you could benefit. So the rest of it is still there for you. The members are gradually coming up, getting a lot more. We have 3 new members last month. I've told them, hey, if you do a full-time job, 40 hours, on Scribble, it's going to take you 4 months to completely exhaust every single resource within Scribble. And by the time we'll add another 10 hours of content into it, and that's how it goes in. So, just join in if there is anybody who can do it. But otherwise, I will see you November the 9th. November the 9th, market will be moved so much, and I would expect ChatGPT Enterprise, you'll have a little bit more transparency about what exactly it does. And I also think Copilot will be launched, which means rather than to talk about all these things, please to go double check Bing search, how it works, and please to put the web version up. And if there is anything else, just keep an eye in this Microsoft Copilot forums and familiarize yourself. So when things do fall on place, I want you to go forward. Let others keep talking about what's the prompt, why do you need to do a prompt and stuff. It's okay. They are just waking up. There will be a lot of people, as I mentioned, who will be doing basic courses. There are a lot of resources available in YouTube already. Otherwise, I will see you in a month's time. Thank you for joining, and everybody who's going to listen to the recording, thank you for joining and listening as well. It will be uploaded over the next week into a YouTube and also into podcast. Join in. I will see you in a month's time. All the very best. Stay healthy. Thank you for all the love and support. If you haven't joined, connect, join in, and keep it interactive. I don't want Hazel to just talk herself too. Everybody join in and share it. It's important. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining. Lots of love to you and your family, and I'll see you when I get back. Take care.